In a world where droughts are becoming longer and water costs keep climbing, traditional cattle breeds just can't keep up. While the Drought Master has long been the go-to choice for tough, dry conditions, there's a new generation of cattle emerging that takes water independence to a whole new level. These aren't just hardy animals. They've been shaped, through decades of breeding and natural adaptation, to thrive on minimal water, maintain fertility, and keep producing even when pastures are dry and the sun is relentless. These 5 remarkable lineages are redefining what it means to survive, and even prosper, under extreme conditions. In this video, we're diving deep into these water-smart cattle and exploring how they're transforming the future of farming in arid regions. Take the Brahman lineage, which traces back to Bos indicus cattle of the Indian subcontinent. Modern Brahman cattle were formalized in the United States in the early 20th century, but their roots lie in regions where heat, humidity, parasites, and seasonal water scarcity shaped every trait. What makes Brahman so impressive in dry conditions is not just tolerance to heat. It is how their physiology manages stress. Their loose skin increases surface area for cooling. Their sweat glands are more active than many European breeds. Their metabolic rate under heat stress tends to be lower, which reduces internal water demand. Even their grazing patterns shift in extreme heat, favoring early morning and late evening feeding to conserve energy and moisture. When water is limited, Brahman cattle can travel farther to access it, and they often maintain body condition where other breeds rapidly lose weight. Ranchers who work in semi-arid zones understand that Brahman genetics are less about brute force survival and more about efficient adaptation. Another lineage that challenges the idea that Drought Master stands alone is the Tuli. Originating in southern Africa, the Tuli developed in environments defined by erratic rainfall, poor pasture quality, and intense sun. Over generations, natural selection and careful breeding refined a medium-framed animal with a smooth coat, excellent fertility, and a surprising ability to maintain performance under nutritional stress. Tuli cattle are not oversized, and that is part of their advantage. Moderate body size reduces maintenance requirements, which in turn reduces water demand. They are known to maintain reproductive performance even during dry cycles, a trait that matters more than rapid growth in many drought-prone systems. Their skin pigmentation protects against solar radiation, while their grazing efficiency allows them to extract value from sparse grasses. Producers who integrate Tuli genetics often report steadier herd performance through fluctuating rainfall patterns, which in practical terms means fewer emergency interventions and more predictable output. The Nguni lineage tells a similar but uniquely African story. Developed over centuries by pastoral communities in southern Africa, Nguni cattle were shaped by mobility, limited supplemental feed, and long dry seasons. They are not engineered in a laboratory sense, but their resilience feels intentional. Nguni cattle are known for strong immune systems and efficient digestion of low-quality forage. In dry climates, this becomes critical. When grasses mature and lose moisture content, many cattle breeds struggle to extract sufficient nutrition. Nguni cattle, however, tend to maintain condition on forage that would cause sharp declines in less adapted animals. Their smaller frame again plays a role in reducing overall water requirements. Perhaps most importantly, Nguni cows have a reputation for high fertility under stress, with good calving intervals even when rainfall is inconsistent. In drought economics, fertility is currency. A cow that breeds back on schedule without heavy supplementation is effectively generating profit in environments where inputs are costly and uncertain. Moving across the Atlantic, the Senepol lineage offers a fascinating blend of adaptation. Developed in the Caribbean from Ndama cattle of West Africa crossed with red pole cattle from Europe, Senepol cattle combine heat tolerance and parasite resistance with solid beef performance. What makes Senepol particularly interesting in water-limited systems is their slick hair gene, which contributes to improved heat dissipation. Animals that regulate body temperature efficiently do not experience the same degree of stress-driven water loss. Senepol cattle often demonstrate strong grazing behavior during hot periods when other breeds reduce activity. They are known to maintain growth rates and reproductive performance in tropical and subtropical climates where rainfall can be seasonal and unreliable. Their adaptability has led to widespread crossbreeding programs in the Americas, where producers aim to capture heterosis while preserving water-efficient traits. In effect, Senepol genetics have become a tool for building composite cattle designed to function with less reliance on constant water abundance. The Bonsmara lineage provides another compelling case. Developed in South Africa through a structured breeding program that combined Afrikaner, Hereford, and Shorthorn genetics, Bonsmara cattle were intentionally selected for adaptability, fertility, and performance under extensive conditions. The Afrikaner influence brought heat tolerance and drought resilience, while the British breeds contributed meat quality and growth. What sets Bonsmara apart is the systematic emphasis on functional efficiency. Cows that failed to rebreed under tough veldt conditions were culled. Animals that required excessive inputs were removed from the gene pool. Over decades, this produced a breed that thrives in hot, dry environments without sacrificing carcass quality. Bonsmara cattle are often described as balanced, and in drought management balance is everything. An animal that grows moderately, breeds consistently, and maintains body condition on native pasture is often more valuable than one that excels only under ideal conditions. When comparing these lineages to Drought Master, the conversation shifts from single breed superiority to strategic genetic design. Drought Master itself was created in Australia by blending Brahman with British breeds to capture both adaptation and production. That same philosophy is now being applied globally, but with greater precision. Ranchers in dry regions are increasingly combining Brahman or Senepol with Tuli or Bonsmara, aiming to stack traits that enhance water efficiency, heat tolerance, and reproductive resilience. The goal is not simply survival. It is independence from constant water supplementation and expensive feed during dry spells. Water independence in cattle does not mean zero water intake. It means maximizing the biological capacity to function when water is scarce or distant. Traits that support this include lower maintenance energy requirements, efficient rumen function, strong feet and legs for walking long distances, and behavioral adaptation to grazing under heat stress. Many of these lineages share these features because they evolved or were developed in harsh climates where only the most efficient animals reproduced successfully. There is also a subtle but important economic layer to this discussion. In many drought-prone regions, water infrastructure is expensive to build and maintain. Wells, pumps, pipelines, and storage systems require capital. Cattle that can travel farther to water or maintain productivity with less frequent access reduce the pressure on these systems. They allow for larger grazing cells and more flexible pasture management. Over time, that flexibility translates into cost savings and reduced risk during prolonged dry periods. Climate variability is amplifying the relevance of these lineages. Regions that once enjoyed reliable seasonal rainfall are experiencing greater unpredictability. Producers who historically relied on temperate European breeds are now facing heat waves and dry spells that strain those genetics. Integrating Brahman, Tuli, and Nguni, Senepol, or Bonsmara bloodlines becomes less about experimentation and more about adaptation strategy. The shift is gradual but noticeable. Composite cattle designed for resilience are gaining ground in markets that once prioritized rapid growth above all else. Another factor often overlooked is longevity. Drought-resilient lineages tend to have longer productive lifespans in harsh environments. Cows that remain fertile and structurally sound for more years reduce replacement costs. In water-limited systems, raising replacements can be particularly expensive because young animals are often more vulnerable to nutritional stress. A cow that produces consistently for 10 or more years under extensive management becomes a cornerstone of herd stability. Many producers working with Tuli, Nguni, or Bonsmara cattle report exactly this kind of durability. Genetics alone, of course, do not guarantee water independence. Management plays a critical role. Rotational grazing, soil health practices, and strategic supplementation all influence how cattle perform under drought. Yet the foundation remains the animal. An efficient genotype amplifies the benefits of good management and cushions the impact of poor seasons. That is why these 5 lineages deserve attention beyond the shadow of Droughtmaster. They represent different evolutionary and breeding pathways toward the same objective, maximizing output per unit of water consumed. Beyond Droughtmaster, these 5 lineages illustrate that water efficiency in cattle is not a single trait but a complex integration of physiology, behavior, and reproductive stability. Brahman brings proven heat adaptation and mobility. Tuli contributes moderate size and steady fertility under stress. Nguni offers disease resistance and forage efficiency. Senepol blends tropical resilience with solid beef performance. Bonsmara demonstrates the power of structured selection for balance in harsh conditions. Together they form a genetic toolkit for producers who refuse to be held hostage by unpredictable rainfall. The real takeaway is this. The future of beef in dry regions will belong to cattle that waste nothing. Not energy. Not forage. Not water. The breeds and composites built on Brahman, Tuli, Nguni, Senepol, and Bonsmara foundations are already demonstrating what that future looks like. They are not flashy in the traditional sense. They are efficient, durable, and quietly profitable. And in an era defined by resource pressure, that combination may be the most powerful innovation of all. These 5 cattle lineages prove that true water independence in livestock isn't a fantasy, it's already here. From the heat-tolerant Brahman to the efficient Nguni, each breed brings unique traits that allow them to thrive where others struggle, keeping fertility, growth, and productivity high even in the driest conditions. For farmers and ranchers facing unpredictable climates, integrating these genetics could be a game-changer, reducing dependence on constant water and costly inputs. If you found this deep dive into water-smart cattle useful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more insights on innovative livestock solutions, and comment below with which breed you'd want in your herd. Your feedback helps us bring even more practical strategies straight to your feed.